Hey, and welcome back to I Can't Play Guitar. My name is Jamie, and I can't play the guitar. Today, we're here going over how to play the guitar, and we're going to do that today by continuing through our work on Orange Amp's Rock Foundations course. And we're also going to be using Justin Guitars courses, and we might even look at some other stuff. But for now, we're going to jump right into the Orange Amps course. We're going to quickly go over, like we normally have been in the last few sessions, some chords. We're going to run through the chord progressions probably twice, and then we're going to run through the octave and some of the scales, and then we're going to try and play a song. So, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. And if you're learning how to play the guitar, that's cool. I didn't have a good line lined up there, but it's taken me a while, and I feel like I've made what seems like almost no progress. I can't play a song yet. I can barely play chords, and I'm just learning scales. So, it's only been about a week, so I guess you can't really expect much more than that. But it feels good. I'm having a lot of fun. On the flip side, I haven't really felt like not playing. I just realized earlier today that I don't know a single song. I've been trying to learn the four main chords to the chorus of Space Oddity as suggested by the Orange Amps course, but there's a really tricky F chord, F bar chord in it that I want to learn how to play because it sounds bad using an alternate fingering. And yeah, we're just trying really hard to get that F, and even like a bad version of it, we can't seem. That's all we got. Oh, big ass chord change. All right, let's jump into some practice and stuff. So yeah, it's been a while. If you're at it and you feel like there's no progress, sit tight. Most players you know have played for at least a year or two before they were regularly playing songs, and there's still a place for every single player to do scales, to do drills, to do work like we're doing here. So welcome back. Thanks for being with us. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just give you guys a look at our fretboard here, like we normally do. Get the wide angle lens on, and let's go through these octave scales while we're here. C major. I think I know that one. I'm not even gonna look it up. I'm gonna set my metronome up to 100 beats per minute. Phew. Pretty good. A minor. A little sloppy, but I definitely got it. The G major. I think I remember this one. A minor pentatonic. Don't remember it.
We're now going to take a look at the A minor pentatonic scale. We start by placing our first finger on the bottom E string, 5th fret. Then we stretch up with our little finger and play the 8th fret on the bottom E string. Then the 5th fret of the A string with our first finger. The 7th fret of the A string with our 3rd finger. And then the same again on the D string. So we have the 5th fret with our first finger, and the 7th fret with our 3rd finger. So altogether, your A minor pentatonic scale should sound like this. Let's try it with the metronome, set to 100 beats per minute.
Gay. Sorry, I didn't mean gay. Well,
Next we have the C major pentatonic scale. We start by placing our middle finger on the bottom E string, 8th fret. Then the 10th fret with our little finger. Then the 7th fret of the A string with our first finger. The 10th fret with our little finger. The same again on the D string, so we have the 7th fret with our first finger. And the 10th fret with our little finger. So your C major pentatonic scale should sound like this. Again, let's try it with the metronome.
Was that A? Yeah.
Next we have the C major pentatonic scale. We start by placing our middle finger on the bottom E string, 8th fret.
No.
We're now going to take a look at the A minor pentatonic scale. We start by placing our first finger on the bottom E string, 5th fret. Then we stretch up with our little finger and play the 8th fret on the bottom E string.
just played is. Okay, next one.
Your G chromatic scale should sound like this.
This is the ugliest, stupidest scale that I just don't really want to play.
Let's try it with the metronome, set to 100 beats per minute, 1 note per click.
Wow. I don't even feel
Now
like
don't worry if you can't play them at the speeds I've shown you. You have to work your way up. So start slow and gently speed up the metronome until you get to 100 beats per minute.
good enough. Stupid. Lesson quiz. Alright, let's view the lesson quiz. What does a key signature tell you? It's stupid. What is the formula for a natural minor scale? It's tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. What is the formula for a major scale? How many notes are in a pentatonic scale? 6. 5. How many frets are there in a semitone half step? 1 fret. How many frets are there in a tone whole step? 2 frets. Ooh, it was clearly 5. Cool. Okay, so the quizzes really don't mean anything. Open chords. Let's play these open chords, and we'll go to the materials. Turn these down. All right, so we're going to start actually with progression 2 because we've got to get this playing, and then
1, 2, 3, 4.
progression 2, E minor, A minor, D, G.
1, 2, 3, 4.
E minor, D, C, G.
1, 2, 3, 4.
E, A, D, G.
1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. One, 2,
One more time.
3, 4.
This is progression 1. E minor, A minor, D, G.
1,
Here we go.
2, 3, 4.
minor, D, C, G.
1, 2, 3, 4. One, two,
E, A, D,
3,
G.
4.
Last one, D minor, C, G.
1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4.
All right, let me run through them on my own here. Just see if I can get through them. And here we go. G, D, C, A minor. Next one, E minor, A minor, D, G. Progression 4, E, A, D, G. last one. One, two, three, four. Cool. I think we're good. We're definitely not going to say it's complete, but we're getting good at the chords. The octave scales, module 1. Get your qualification. What are they talking about here? Congratulations. Let's get your free qualification. Foundation course is split into 3 bite-sized modules. You have learnt the lessons in module 1. You'll be able to take module 1 for qualification. If you pass, oh no, I'm not done yet. I didn't learn everything yet. Definitely not. All right. definitely not. We're gonna work. Where's Justin guitar? We're gonna go back to Justin guitar and check out where we go. Andy chords and songs. Holy cow! All right, let's check it out.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Welcome to lesson 2 of my beginner guitar course. I hope you've had a lot of fun this week. Most likely your fingers are a little bit sore. That's really normal. Don't be afraid of it. It's just part of the journey. You have to deal with really sore fingertips for the first 3, 4, 5 weeks. That's kind of an average amount of how much it really hurts. And then it still hurts a little bit, but it starts to get a little bit better. I'm learning to play guitar left-handed at the same time as I'm doing these lessons for you, and I can still feel it in my right hand fingertips from pressing on the strings. It
Nice.
is just something that you have to kind of go through. It's a rite of passage, if you like, as part of your journey. So really, don't worry about it too much. I'm trying to give you as many tips as we go along about how to alleviate it and to, breaking up your practice and not pressing too hard when you don't need to, that kind of stuff. That'll make a big difference, but don't feel like you're alone if your fingers are getting real sore. The other thing that I want you to know that's really important is that it's okay not to be okay. It's only the beginning of your journey. Probably right now you feel a little bit frustrated that the chords seem really difficult, your fingers are really sore, you can't really get into the rhythm, maybe you had to go at the song and you're not feeling super successful about that, but that's okay. You have to be
100%.
forgiving of yourself in these early stages because it is a difficult thing.
Okay.
You just have to kind of keep your head down and go, it's okay that this isn't great. I've only been going a little while, and you just have to keep practicing. That's the key thing. The most important thing to remember as a beginner is that it's not going to sound perfect right away, and that it's okay if the chords are not sounding all of that great, or the strumming feels really difficult and you can't play for that, for 10 minutes of your song practice without your fingers hurting so much that you have to stop. That's okay. Right? You want to be noticing progress. You want things to be feeling slightly easier and slightly less painful.
Yeah.
But don't expect it to be everything to be perfect within a week, because it's not going to happen.
Wow.
Okay? So don't worry about that.
Thanks,
There's
man.
a whole lot of stuff that we're going to learn today. We're going to start off by checking out an E chord. And once we've learned our A, D, and E chords, the repertoire that you've got to choose from is huge. There's loads of songs that just use those 3 chords. So that's a pretty cool thing. Of course, I'm going to give you suggested songs to do, but there's a lot more that you can explore on your own as well. We're going to be taking a little bit more detailed look at the way we put our fingers down and the thumb placement on the back of the neck. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to tap your foot. I know it seems a silly thing, but it is actually, there is a way to do it that works better than others. We're going to talk a little bit about strumming mechanics as well, the way that you move your arm to make that feel really good. We're going to learn a really cool riff, which is going to be the Peter Gunn theme. Hopefully you're kind of familiar with that. Some of you might know it as the Blues Brothers theme as well, because it's essentially the same stuff. And then we're going to be checking out a whole bunch of new songs to play. So let's get stuck in.
Okay, let's do it. How do we go to the next one? How to play the E chord, I guess.
Hey, how you doing? Justin continuing the lesson on with a look at the E chord. Now, a lot of people find the E chord a little easier than A and D. And the reason I pop it into lesson 2 is because if you've done your homework and you've practiced your A and D and you've got those changes up, when we add in the E, it feels a little bit easier, and the repertoire choices that we've got with those 3 chords becomes huge all of a sudden. So it's a lot of fun. So this is what an E chord looks like. It's actually a pretty cool one because we don't have to worry about not strumming any strings. We're going to strum all 6 strings for this chord. Now, as usual, we're going to start with the first finger. First finger's going to go down right next to the fret in the 1st fret on the 3rd string. So 1, 2, 3 in the 1st fret. Then we're going to put 2nd finger down right up next to the fret again, but not right on it for reasons you're going to see in a second, but a tiny little bit back. And that's the 2nd fret of the 5th string, the 2nd thickest string. And then 3rd finger is going to go down right next to the fret there on the 4th string. So the 2nd and 3rd fingers are in the same fret. That's why I said to you, if you put your 2nd finger down there right next to the fret, you're trying to get that 3rd finger in is going to be pretty difficult. So Second finger will sit a little bit back from the fret. Third finger will be right next to the fret. So first and third fingers right next to the fret. Second finger will go just a little bit further back. Now the key thing here, again, when you're learning your new chords, is the strum, pick out, strum. So we start off by giving it a strum. Then we pick out the notes one at a time. And then we strum it again. Now, when I was learning this stuff, I found it really difficult to use a pick for picking the notes out one at a time. So don't be upset if you're going to use your thumb and just go through and pick out the notes like that. That's totally cool as well. Like I said, you do the best you can here. You try and push yourself a little bit. That's okay. But don't feel upset if you find using the pick really difficult, because I certainly did when I was learning this stuff. Now, couple of things about the hand position and the things we want to be aware of. Now, I've got the thumb there hooking over the top, and that's kind of a normal thing for me when I play naturally these days after having played for 30 years. At this point, you want to be keeping the thumb around the back of the neck, and that's really important. The reason is that we want to build up this muscle here between the first finger and the thumb for when we play these things called bar chords, when we're going to play like whole shapes and we've got to press all the strings down at once. So we really want to get that muscle nice and strong. So it's much better in the early stages to be playing with the thumb around the back of the neck. Now, exactly where it goes will depend on your anatomy, because everyone's got a different shaped thumb and it sits in a different place. So it should generally be speaking behind the fingers in the top half of the neck of the guitar, okay, roughly. It's not exact, so because like I said, everyone's slightly different. For some people the thumb kind of points a little bit more toward the headstock. For some people it points a little bit toward your face. Other people it's straight up. You've got to find the place where it feels comfortable for you, where you feel like you can get good pressure on the fingers. Okay, so don't be stressed about like, where's my thumb going? It's going to be different for everyone. Just don't worry about it. Okay, so it's a really important little part of the piece of the puzzle that you need to figure out kind of on your own, really. So, first thing, the thicker string. When you play that one, if it's dead like this, it's the second finger's up too far and is touching that string. So just bring it back down so you've got that open string ringing nice and clear. When we're testing the fifth string, if that one's feeling a bit dead, it's probably you're not pressing hard enough, because there's not much else.
All right, we don't need you. We're tapping your foot. Here we go. Let's check this out.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. In this lesson, we're going to talk about strumming mechanics for beginners. So exactly like how your arm should sit, the angle it should sit, where the motion comes from. Is it your wrist? Is it your arm? All of that sort of stuff. I think having an understanding of that can really help a beginner on their journey. So it's slightly different for acoustic guitar and electric guitar, but I'm going to take you through both. Okay, so starting off with acoustic guitar, first thing you want to realize is that your arm's going to sit on the guitar, on the top of the guitar, so it's nice and relaxed. You shouldn't be kind of floating away from the instrument. That'll cause you a lot of tension in the shoulder, and you really want to be as relaxed as possible. So your arm sits on the acoustic guitar in a nice, relaxed way. So find a little spot where it's kind of totally relaxed, sitting on the instrument. Now, it's important to realize that part of this placement is to hold your guitar sturdy, okay? You don't want to be holding the guitar up with your fretting hand at all. Okay, so it should sit the same when you're doing your chords as when you've taken that hand off altogether. So it's the shape of the guitar there, the way it sits on your leg, and the pressure from that arm that'll hold the guitar nice and firmly in place. Okay, so it's an important thing to realize first of all. Now, the actual motion when you're strumming as a beginner should be your forearm. Now, there are techniques later on where you use your wrist, where it becomes a lot more like flicking water off your hand, particularly if you're strumming real quick. But my recommendation for beginners is that you get into this idea of it being a forearm movement. So what we're looking for here really is from the elbow all of the way down right to the thumb is a straight line. Okay, the pick is going to come out the side of the thumb. So the motion there with the hand stays more or less parallel to the guitar all the time. Okay, so just get used to that without strumming the guitar first of all. Just try and get used to that feeling. it wants to be as relaxed as possible. Of course, you're going to require some muscles moving to be able to create the tension to make your arm move, but it wants to be as relaxed as it can. It doesn't want to feel all tight and tense. The strumming will sound horrible and tight and tense, and your pick will keep getting stuck in the strings if you're like that. You want it to be just really as relaxed as you can possibly get it. Okay, really feel like almost the down strums are almost like your hands just dropping down. Then you use a little bit of muscle to bring it back, and then it's dropping. It wants to feel really that relaxed. Okay, it's a really important part of this beginner journey, is getting your strumming mechanics feeling good. Okay, now another part of that is how hard you hold the pick and how you hold the pick. So if you're following my guidance here, the pick should come out the side of your thumb. Okay, now it wants to be at a little bit of an angle to the strings as well. If the pick is square onto the strings, it kind of jerks through a little bit. It'll keep getting caught. The worst is if it's angled like this and then you go for a down strum, it's just going to pull into the strings, okay? So it wants to be kind of parallel first of all, and then slightly pointing down, slightly away from you. I think that's going to be a really important little movement. Just that little bit, just often just bending the knuckle of your thumb just a little bit can make a huge difference. And then you'll see now that the pick hits the strings at an angle, and therefore it's not going to get caught. Okay, it's such a little subtle difference. Just the movement of that thumb from there to there means that instead of the pick being flat on, that little bit of angle means the pick will glide over the strings rather than potentially getting caught in the strings.
Wow,
you'll find it
that's
can
so
just glide
dramatic.
through. It doesn't want to be too much. It's not like 90 degrees. It's like maybe 20 or 30 degrees to the strings. Now, once you've got that, a really good exercise to do just a little bit on your own. It's not like you have to practice it every day, but just making the motion down and up over the strings like that, making sure that it's not coming from your wrist. There's not too much twisty stuff going on here. There's coming from the forearm, and trying to keep it relaxed. Now, what you're going to find is if you hold the pick too tight, it gets all jerky again.
Yo.
So you want the pick to be so loose, like unbelievably loose, especially for beginners. They
was the
worry
most
about dropping the pick all the
horrific.
time. That's dead normal, and you probably will drop it sometimes. That's okay. But you want to feel the pick as loosely in your fingers as you can. It's one of the reasons why I suggest for beginners that you start with a very, very thin pick, the thinnest you can find. Because if you hold your pick too tight, it's going to get jammed and caught in the strings and always feel really jerky. A real thin pick is much more forgiving and won't do that.
Did I hold the pick wrong?
Long term, you want to hold the pick lightly so that I can use the thicker pick and it still glides over just as well.
Oh,
Okay? But just so you're understanding the reasoning here. So
Thanks,
the
Justin.
really early stages, use as thin a pick as you can for strumming because it's forgiving. And as you get a bit better, you want to use a thicker and thicker pick so that you can control the volume and you control how you play much better with a thick pick. But it requires a lighter grip. That's often hard for beginners. As it is, you're going to find the pick moving around in your fingers and you're going to have to stop all the time and you're like reset it because it will be pointing in the wrong direction. It's all normal, nothing to worry about. We're going to talk a little bit more about that further on down the line as well. But just for now, I want you to concentrate on the straight arm, motion from the wrist and angling the pick just a little bit on the contact with the strings and being aware of not gripping the pick too tight. Like I said, we'll discuss a little bit more detail about how that works later on. But just for now, not
Fucking
too
break
tight.
a string.
And use a thin pick. Okay, I'm using my kind of the thicker pick. I do actually have. Let me reach over and grab that now. A super thin pick. So this is it's essentially like a piece of paper. It's completely bendy, and with this one I can hold it as hard as I like, and it still doesn't get caught up in the strings. Okay, because it just bends flat. So that's the reason I think this,
I
the
would
super
recommend
thin pick is
basically these
really
two.
great for beginners. I'm struggling. I'm
They're
like
not a
4 or
huge
5,
difference.
6 weeks into
This
my
one just gives
beginners
you- this
left-handed
one is,
lessons, and I find if I use this orange pick, it's just
This one is the classic Tortex 73 excuse me, 0.73 millimeters. And this is 0.88. I ordered these on accident. I think we talked about them in our first session. But when we were playing scales today and we dropped this pick and had this one as our backup, this one feels a lot better when you're doing like string work. This one feels good though. It still feels good. There's nothing wrong with this pick, but I do like this pick. I thought I didn't when I first got it, but I do like it a lot. That's what he's talking about with different picks there.
Feels really awkward, even though I exactly know what I should be doing. Right? I really deeply know that I shouldn't be holding the pick too hard. I still struggle with it. Okay, but the sooner you can be aware of that, the better, and the sooner you're going to start getting it right. So let me talk you through a little bit about the difference now with electric guitar, because it's the idea is the same, the concept's the same, the movements are the same, but you don't have this rest for your arm. So it's one of the reasons why I really find it uncomfortable to play with a long shirt on or something, you know, a jumper, because you want to have a little bit of grip here of the forearm on the guitar itself. Okay, so your arm sits on here and it kind of moves on the guitar. Okay, it's why you often get a little bit of wear on like relic guitars or old vintage guitars. You get a lot of wear on this part of the guitar neck because your arm kind of sits on it, and it's the grippiness of the skin kind of holds it in place, because you still want the shoulder to be nice and relaxed. You don't want to be doing like this, strumming like this away from the instrument with nothing, with your elbow floating free, because it'll get really painful. You'll get far too much tension in your shoulder, probably end up really badly injuring yourself. So it just sits loosely on the guitar like this. So there's a little bit of grip, and then it's exactly the same motion. So it's still parallel to the strings. You're still thinking about that slight angle there with the pick. Okay, that's it. All of those things are the same. Still. Thinking nice and relaxed all the time. You just want, you can see that the motion, instead of it being like sitting on it, is just like sitting on the top like we get from an acoustic.
Okay, we're back for you guys. Sorry about that. Let's do a scale. Pentatonic, 7, 8. Still got him. Yeah. What else do we have? Let's do the chord progressions. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back, I don't know, 10 to 30 minutes. Hopefully. See you guys soon. All right, we're back. How's it going? We're going to do some more work on these Justin guitar lessons. Okay, so we got that one. Beginner lesson 2.5. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Hey, how you doing? Justin back with you. Now we're looking at strumming on the beat. Now we already I mentioned that most music, beginner sort of stuff, is going to be in 4/4, meaning there's 4 beats to the bar. There are other things like a waltz where you have 3, do dit dit do dit dit, this kind of thing. Most music though has this 1.
The amount of unicorn magic.
Hey, how you doing? Justin back with you again for another important little bit of advice for those of you on my beginner's course for when you're playing songs. And that is the importance of getting your chords right and ready for beat 1. So if you're playing a song, no matter how fast it is, you want to try to get your strum right on beat 1. Okay, sometimes it's not going to be possible. If you're really struggling, you're trying to get to the chord as fast as you can, but you just can't do it. But what you want to do as a general rule is start changing your chords with enough time that you can get the chord ready for the next strum on beat 1. So, for example, if we're playing here E to A, we're going one strum per bar. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I can start the change after beat 4 because I'm pretty confident with that chord change. It's not a big effort for me. But I know when I'm playing lefty and I'm struggling with it, I'd probably have to start changing chords around beat 3. So going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And that's okay. It's much better to be playing the chord right on beat 1 than it is to be late all the time. So if you got like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, it just becomes uneven and it's not as musical. Ideally, you want to be having a really strong strum either on beat 1 or where the chord changes. So if you've got a chord change halfway through the bar, you're going to have to, do twice as many chord changes. So you might have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, that kind of thing. So you've got a little bit more chord changes. You have to think about where you're lifting them up. How soon do you have to start your chord change to get it ready for beat 1? Okay, this is a really, really big deal again. When you're practicing your songs, that's what you want to think about. The first few times you're playing a new song with a new chord, it might be a big fumble fest. That's okay.
A big fumble
Not a big deal,
fest.
nothing worth beating yourself up over. Just be like, yeah, only just learned it. It's cool. It's going to be a little bit confusing and I'm not going to reach it in time. But as the week goes on and you're getting better and better, you want to start thinking about trying to get the chord shape ready for the start of the next bar so that you can deliver your strum on beat 1 confidently. It really will make it sound a lot more musical. It'll make your playing along feel better.
Alright, we're good. Some fun stuff.
Hey,
Finally.
how you doing? Justin here. Today we're going to check out the Peter Gunn theme. It's a really awesome beginner riff. It's kind of like a finger exercise at the same time and a picking exercise, and it's a cool riff. Some of you might know it as the Blues Brothers theme song as well. Very, very popular little ditty, this one, and it's loads of stuff good to learn in it. So let me play it for you first of all. It looks like this. Now, if I was playing it for real, I might use different fingers. I'd probably be more likely to go and just use fingers 1, 2, and 3 because they're a lot stronger. But as a beginner, we haven't got into using our little finger yet, so I want you to have a go at using the fingers 1 per fret. So first finger's going to play all the notes in the 2nd fret, second finger's going to play all the notes in the 3rd fret, third finger's going to play all the notes in the 4th fret, and little finger's going to play all the notes in the 5th fret. Okay? Now the pattern is going to be open, open, 2, open, 3, open, 5th fret, 4th fret. Okay, I was talking fret numbers there. Open, open, 2, open, 3, open, 5, 4. Okay, that's the whole riff. When you first start playing it, it ain't going to sound like that. It'll be more do. It's really difficult for me to deliberately do it wrong right-handed, but if you want to watch me do it left-handed, there's the videos over on the website, the Knit Such series, where you can watch me fumble my way through this tune. The trick, the things that is going to help you be able to do it well, first of all, is to try and get your hand in position there, okay? Now, some of you are going to find it really difficult to keep your fingers spread out enough like that. You're going to find it be a bit like this. Try and use the right fingers, even if you have to go here and move. Here, you might end up moving a little bit like that. It's not ideal. You want to try to get the fingers spread out if you can. So just as a little starting point, first finger, 2nd fret. It's all on the thicker string, by the way. 2nd finger in the 3rd fret, 3rd finger in the 4th fret, little finger in the 5th fret. See if you can get your fingers to just sit there. You might already find that's like, hey man, that's super difficult for me, I can't do it. It's okay. Practice it through the week, you'll get better and better at it. Even if you can't do it right now, you might not be able to do it in a week or 2 weeks, but you'll be better at doing it if you try. Okay, and there's, like I said, there's a whole heap of things going on here. It's not just about playing the riff. Okay, this is a great finger exercise to be going using all 4 fingers. You're getting some little finger action. you're getting used to with your pick hand playing the same string over and over again, because it's literally
Brutal on the
all
pinky.
downs. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4
Oh.
and would be the count for those of you who don't understand rhythm. It's called even eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so getting used to the pick being consistent is going to be a big part of the exercise. Getting used to using all of the different fingers. Now, some common other mistakes that you're going to find, it's going to be difficult to hit just the one string. You could probably find you go like. And that's okay. Just be forgiving of yourself again. Later on, you'll be able to control the pick better to just play one note. One thing you might find is if you let your first finger kind of rest on the strings a little bit. Here, when it's not playing or when it's playing that note, I'm letting the edge of my first finger touch on all of the strings. So it just ends up muting them a little bit. So if they were accidentally ringing out, touching them ever so lightly with the first finger, it's going to mute them all for you. So you might find that helpful. Don't worry about trying to do it fast if you're going like this. That's totally fine as well. It's a learning experience. You're going to find this difficult. The idea with me giving you these riffs is to give you kind of nice, recognizable, fun things to do on the guitar, but they're also exercises. Everyone's got something about it that I want you to learn. This idea of picking out individual notes is a really, really important thing for beginners. Learning to keep your timing consistent is important, and then starting to develop your finger independence so that you can control the fingers on the same string is also a really useful exercise. So it's not just about the riff, but it's a lot of fun. I don't think I got to the point where I could play it along with the record because it's considerably faster than most beginners are going to be able to do it. If you're worried about how you're feeling about it, then go and check out my Lefty video. You'll probably find it a lot of fun, watching me fumbling with it and struggling and how it goes. You'll probably find sometimes you fall off the skateboard, I call it as well, where it's going, you're like, yeah, man, I can do it. This is going great.
Fall off the skateboard, that's great.
Oh,
Man.
what happened to my fingers? And something will go wrong and you just have to stop. That's okay. It's just normal. This is what happens when you're a beginner.
Thanks,
Don't
Just.
stress about it. Don't be all like, oh, I
Thanks,
can't do it.
bro.
I'm never going to be able to do it. I'm hopeless at guitar. That's completely the wrong place to put your head. You just want to be like, yeah, can't do that yet. I'm struggling with it a little bit.
Oh,
That's
man.
okay. I'm just going to keep practicing it.
Dude,
Okay? That's the ideal thing for this little riff.
thank you.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot
Good
of fun
shit.
playing it.
Love the Blues Brothers. Let's check this out. Do they have the... Alright, I have to use the rest room, and then we're going to pull up that Blues Brothers song, and we're going to play along to it, because I fucking love the Blues Brothers. All right, let's check this out. We're going to check out the Blues Brothers. Peter Gunn theme. Here we go. And get my whole stream copyrighted. Not that it wasn't already. Oh, get the fuck out of here. All right, let's take that from the top. Interesting. Let's see how we do with it.